Hello, Power Up Nation. Pad Council here, and I want to talk quickly about what is your life worth? I want to ask that question of you, okay? Because I ask myself that question: what is my life worth? And most importantly, what is it worth to me? And what made me ask that question is actually everything that's going on with the election when it comes to abortion and this kind of thing. Now, I'm not here to tell people how to vote, and I'm not here to tell them what to do, because that's not my place. You're all adults, thinking adults, and responsible adults, and you'll vote however you see fit. That's what makes America great, is that we have the right to vote for whomever we choose to vote for. We don't have to vote for someone because someone pressures us into it. But as I was thinking, okay, who am I going to vote for, and what am I going to vote for? I thought about the abortion issue, and I asked myself, I had to kind of think that one through. And I looked at the commercials, and of course the commercials do, suppose someone's raped, or someone's health is being destroyed, or they're going to die, and that kind of thing. And I looked at that, and then I did my homework. And that's not true, what they're saying. However, I still said, okay, but let's take a look at this. My body, it's my body, and I should be in control of it, or in charge of what I do with my body. All right. I like that. I'm a female. But then I thought about that, and I said, you know what? Why don't we see what the Bible says about that? And actually, the Bible tells us, it says that your body is not your own. And it says it's the temple that houses the spirit, and that your body belongs to God. And so then I thought about that. I said, so basically God would use me as a female to carry a baby, to bring on this earth, to carry out a specific purpose. Because I looked at all of that, and I said, we each have these amazing gifts and talents. We all have a special purpose, and different purposes. And it's amazing. I was talking with one of my friends. This was a couple of days ago. I was helping him with his printer, and he's an older gentleman, and so he didn't know what to do. So I said, okay, I'll help you. So I helped him, and he gave me some pictures that he had painted, some portraits, and these were actually abstract type, actually prints of portraits that he painted, and they were so beautiful. And some of them were images of the ocean, and it looked so lifelike. And he showed those to me, and he was just showing them to me. And I thought, wow, these are so amazing. I said, these look so real. And when I finished fixing his printer, he had autographed it, and he said, would you like it? And I said, yes, I'll frame it and put it on my wall, because it's beautiful. And I told him, I said, I'm amazed at this kind of talent. I can't paint like that. But that's not my gift, and he said, well, you could if you practice. I said, yeah, but I'm not even interested. I just love the beauty that you're bringing. And so I thought about all of that he's good at art. Okay. And I have my gifts and talents. I'm good at speaking and teaching, and when I was in the military, singing, and which I can still sing, of course. So, and God gave me certain gifts, and I used those gifts. And I thought about that when it was actually time to vote. I did, the mail-in thing. And when it was time to vote, and I said, man, I need to really think this through. God says my body is not mine. So when people are out there saying it's my body and I can do what I want, well, you do have that free will. Okay. However, if you believe in what the scripture says, it says that your body it belongs to God. And so if he wants to use your body to bring someone amazing here, like my friend, who painted these beautiful, pictures, and, then that's amazing. Or some of the other people that have come on this earth, and they've just done things to make all of our lives so much better over time. Okay, you can go back in history. You can see what cars used to look like. Before that, it was the a horse and a buggy. And so now it's evolved to cars, and you can see how cars have changed over time because these people who, some woman gave birth to them and they came on this earth and they made things better. So I thought about all of that. Then I thought about the fact that if my mom had had an abortion, because she got pregnant with me at 16, so she had me at 17 years old. But at 16, she was pregnant. I thought, wow, if she had had an abortion, I wouldn't be here. Now, I'm not famous like a lot of those people, like Elon Musk and a lot of those others in this world, or Steve Jobs when he was here. No. However, I have used my gifts and talents, and I can honestly say that I have helped a lot of people to expand their thinking and to realize how capable they were and to tap into their confidence, the confidence that they didn't think they had. And they're building, not just building, but they're actually running successful businesses. And these were people who never thought they could do that. And now they're running businesses and they're making other people's lives better as well. And they're passing it on. And so wherever there's a, let's say, missing person that's supposed to be on this earth to make things better, there's a void there. And things don't get better. They stay worse for a long time. So I thought about it. I said, well, what would have happened if you were never born? And someone, you may be thinking, well, somebody else would have helped them, but you don't know that. You don't know. It's like the butterfly effect. And if you've never seen that movie, It's a Wonderful Life, watch that movie. It's a Christmas movie, but watch it and you'll get some really good insight into how things play out when a person is not around who was intended to be here. So with that being said, made me think, when you start to set these amazing goals as to what you want your life to look like and how you want to live and how you want the people that you want to connect to. I thought, wow, some of the people that are supposed to be born, they never got that chance, and some will never get that chance. Okay, all because people are out here screaming, it's my body and I'll do what I want with it. Well, here's the thing. It is, even if it is your body, and yes, you are in control of it right now, but the truth of the matter is, don't you want to be a little bit more responsible with it? And because they make it sound like every woman that gets pregnant, it happened, oops. In other words, not a oops, but it was more of either they were raped or something like that. It was just something heinous, but that's not the case. Okay, so those numbers aren't as high as the ones who got pregnant because, well, it wasn't oops. So they had a night of passion and they didn't mean for it to go that far, but it did. So, and this is not a judgment, you guys, in no way, shape, or form, because that's not what I do. However, I'm saying that to say, when I got ready to vote, I asked myself, what is my life worth? And it wasn't just about abortion, but in every area, I looked at what is going on in America. And I said, okay, is my life worth giving up my freedom? Is my life worth someone else telling me how much money I can earn? And if I earn too much, they decide to take it. Oh, but the other side to that coin is they are super wealthy. Okay, they are making worth 400 million, 500 million. Some are worth $1 billion. Some are almost at $1 billion. But they're telling me how much money I can make and how much they're going to take from me, because I started I don't want to say with nothing, because no one ever starts with nothing. But let's just say I started with some things I could pawn that I could grow into something. And I grew those into something more. And then faced challenges, 2007 real estate market crash. And we're not going to get into that. But anybody who's been listening to this podcast know that I was in real estate and was very successful at it. And then the market crashed, and then I had a decision to make. Do I want to ride, stay in and weather this storm, or do I really want to do what I'm called to do? Well, I made the decision to do what I'm called to do, which is what I'm doing now. Business coaching and life coaching, and sharing information to help people have a better life. I believe in freedom in the truest sense of the word. It's not something that I say because it sounds good or because it gives me the warm fuzzies for a moment. Because there are people who talk about freedoms, but at the same time, they dictate every single thing that you can do and what you can think and how much money you can keep and these kinds of things. That's not freedom. Okay. Freedom is what they have. And when I say they, I'm talking about the politicians. That's what they have. They have freedom. Okay. Because they have the fancy cars and they can, hop on a jet and have someone fly them. They have private planes and the list goes on and on. Okay. But then they come and they tell the rest of us what we should do, like we're 2-year-olds. I am a thinking adult, and so are you. And thinking adults get to decide what their life is worth. What are you willing to work for? What are you willing to learn? So as you set your goals, think about what your life is worth. See, when people can be manipulated and told this is how you should vote, this is who you should vote for, and then they come up with every negative thing, and it's really interesting. I just decided to make it easy. And it doesn't mean one is better than the other. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I just said, okay, let's look at the scriptures and see who comes closest. Okay. And again, it's not about one being better than the other, but I look at that and then I make a judgment call or make a decision. But I also look at do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I am so glad my mom did not abort me. I am so glad that I am here. And does it mean I don't have challenges in my life? Absolutely, I do. Okay, but you know what? It's a lot of fun to work through those challenges and to overcome those challenges and to go to that next level. So I choose based on what God says. Okay, what God says is right. And I think everybody has the right to do that. So with that being said, as you set your goals, understand this. There are no goals that you can set that you will actually achieve if you operate contrary to those goals. So in other words, if you set goals because you want to have a quality life, well, if you are acting in a manner that deprives other people of a quality life, then yeah, you're not going to reach that goal. Even the people who are, when I say they're rich, I'm saying they have money, but they don't have a quality life. Now, I don't get into the name calling. In other words, calling them out and saying, this is what I did my research and this is what I found out about this person and their spouse. And I don't get into all of that. I don't have to. All I have to do is go to that Bible and I can read and I can see that if they're not following these things, I know that they're not having a quality life. I know that they may be making money. Okay. And here's the danger in that, you guys. I know it feels good to have lots of money and to be able to fund your lifestyle and somebody else's lifestyle for that matter. So I know all of that feels good. But if it's coming in the name of just pure riches, that means that a person will do anything for $1. But if it's coming in the name of wealth supplied by God, because the Bible says that it is God that gives us the power to get wealth. So it's coming in the name of wealth supplied by God. That's a quality life. That's going to feel better. I did a presentation, a workshop a few days ago. And one of the things that I shared in that workshop is that I've seen both sides of that. Okay. And I talked about this on one of my podcasts. It's been, oh my goodness, probably 5-6 years ago. And one of the things I talked about was I've seen the person who did it wrong and they made lots of money. And I've seen the person who did it right and they made lots of money. Now, the one who did it wrong, again, no judgment. These are just facts because this is what happened. The one who went for the money, pure riches, well, that person didn't live a long life. And out of their own mouth, that person said to me, if I had it to do over, I would have done something differently because this is not worth all of the headache and the heartache. He said, you live in fear constantly. There's no peace, no matter with all this money. I don't sleep well. Now, the one who did it right, I decided to ask him the same, that question. I didn't ask the other one. The other one volunteered that, but I asked the other one, and he said to me, he said, well, I can't complain. He said, I'm at peace. I've had a good life. I have a great family. And he's going on all and talking about all the blessings in his life and how grateful he is for everything. And there's no fear with that. And I listened, but I know he built his wealth based on learning what to do and then doing it. And that's a part of what it takes. And he did it based on using his God-given gift. So he didn't, the other guy, what he was doing, it was actually hurting a lot of people. And so, but he was making a lot of money for it. Right. So that's called rich. The other person had wealth, and the other person is still alive. And he's lived so far 20 years longer than the other person, and he's still living. So who knows how long he's going to be here. Okay. But he's an older gentleman now, but still no complaints. So I'm saying this to say to you guys, whatever you do, when it comes to your goals, when it comes to looking at how you want your life to be, I can assure you the government can never fix your life. Never. Okay. I'm not saying that they don't play a role, because they do play a role. I think they've overstepped their role these days. In other words, with parents and their children, I'm like, okay, these belong to parents. So how does that work? Two people get together, they get busy, they have a baby. That's their baby. And until they do something to harm that child, that's a whole nother ball game. Okay. But if they're raising their kids with a certain set of values, okay, and let's say little Susie has a oops, and at 12 she wants to have an abortion. Yeah, those parents should be privy to that. You need their permission. So I won't keep going down that road, but I'm saying all of that to say, think about the goals that you're setting. And then I want you to think about, like, when it comes time for you to vote and make the decision as to what you want your world to look like. And when I say your world, I'm talking America, but this is your part of the world. Because a lot of the things that we do in this country, it does affect the rest of the world. So think about what you want your world to look like. Okay. And are you coming in the name of peace? Are you coming in the name of love? Are you coming in the name of God? Okay. And again, no judgment here. This is not about that everything has to be done perfectly. I haven't met a person who does that. The Bible says we're made perfect through Jesus Christ. But one of these days I'll talk about kind of what that means. However, it does not mean that while you're in that fleshly body, you're not going to make a mistake. But what it does mean that when you make a decision, you make the best decision that allows for the best life for all parties concerned. So consider that. And so whenever I set my goals, granted, I set a lot of my goals based on what I want, but in my business goals, I set my business goals, and I do my business goals first, actually. And I set my business goals based on who I want to help, what I want to bring to the table. And then I ask myself, is this a part of your gift? Is this what you're called to do? And so I ask myself those questions. And how many people can you help? And who will you help? So I ask myself all of those questions because it's my greatest desire to operate within my God-given purpose and to deliver something to this world that's going to make life better, that's going to allow life to grow. Not something that's going to destroy life and actually, weaken the country, because, the less people we have, then the country becomes weaker. Okay. Which is probably why China is having lots of babies. But anyway, the point that I'm making is when you set your goals, I want you to think about your entire life. Your life it's just your life, but understand this, it is an extension of all of our lives. What you do will affect someone else and perhaps several other people around you. And as I wrap up on this, I mentioned that my mom had me when she was 17. So if she had decided not to, because she got pregnant when she was 16, if she had decided not to have me, then that decision will definitely would have affected me. And I'm glad to be here. And I'm glad to be able to carry out my purpose. Does it mean that sometimes I don't hesitate a little bit and go, oh man, am I doing, enough, or am I really operating in my purpose? I ask myself those questions all the time because I want to examine myself and make sure I'm doing what I called to do. Have I always been that way? Absolutely not. But we live, we learn, we grow, we do better. And then we share from our experiences. So again, no judgment here. And because that's the beauty of America, people get to vote however they want to vote. Okay. And there's no fight. I don't know why people do that. They fight because one person believes differently from the other. That doesn't matter. What matters is if we all say we believe, the ones that believe in God, okay, and there's still a good portion of us that do, then are we following what's written? Are we following God's way? Are we following God's rules? And so when you write out your goals, when you think about what you want your life to look like, understand this: there's nothing and no one that can give you a better life or the best life beyond what God can do for you. The Bible says it is God who gives us the power to get wealth. And it doesn't say it's the government, because the government offers $40 extra in your check, or $100 extra, or a little bit of money here and a little bit of money there. Okay. And while they're rich, and I know I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit, but I am going to wrap up. While they're rich and they're living a lavish life, and they don't live the way we live. Okay. And so how dare they think that they can tell me how much money I should have? And see, it would be one thing if they were saying, okay, you have to pay this much in taxes, but we're going to do that so we can make this country better. Handouts has never, ever, ever, ever made any country better. Not one. Okay. Do people need help sometime? Absolutely. They need help. But there should be a limit to that, and we're not going to get into that. But the point that I'm making is nothing makes a person feel better than being able to earn their way, learn how to do it, and actually doing it and getting the results. I've seen it happen. I've seen people that I've coached and where they came in thinking they weren't as capable. They desired to make something happen. And then they got on that path, and then I watched their confidence grow, and they started to make some great things happen. And then they started getting results. And you know what happened? Without fail, many of them have cried, both male and female have cried and said, I never knew I was so capable. I never thought my life could ever be this good. So I'm saying that to say, think about your life. Okay. What do you want your life to be like? What do you want your life to look like? What is your life worth? And the same thing that your life is worth, so is someone else's life. And I think if we all come together and make that commitment that we're going to power up and do what we're called to do and step into our gifts and talents and stop letting a select few people tell us how to think and who to be. Oh man, I always say this. I think that the sky will be bluer and all of the beautiful blossoms will be more colorful, and it'll be a happier world. If everybody was doing what they were called to do and they stepped into it, our life would be so much better. This world would be so much better. And if you say, well, I would do it, but I don't know what to do or how to do it. Well, then you know what the answer to that is: learn to do it. We all started out as babies. Okay. So, I'm good at business. Okay. And there are other things in business that I'm very good under the business category that I'm good at: sales and marketing and branding and all of those things. But I wasn't born saying, you know what? I need to get a brand. Now I know I'm only 3 days old, but I've got to get a really good brand No, I had to learn these things and I had to let my gifts unfold. Okay. I didn't come out talking and saying, yeah, boy, I'm going to be this really great speaker and really good at presenting things and teaching some things when it comes to business. No, it didn't happen that way, you guys. So I'm saying wherever you are in your life, whatever you want your life to look like, make a decision from a position of power. However, when you vote, when you write your goals, when you decide where you're headed in your life, come from a position of power. Don't decide from a position of weakness, thinking you're going to get something more. When you come from a position of weakness, you stay in that position. Actually, you don't stay there. You become weaker because you're giving up the control of your life to someone else. So with that being said, you guys, I think I've talked enough about that, but this does count as one of the 51 days of goal setting and goal achievement information because this is extremely important. And I want to encourage you to take a really good long look at yourself, internally, your soul. Okay. And tap into your spirit. Spirit and soul, they're not the same thing. I've talked about that before, but we'll probably talk about it again. But spend that time, okay, and ask yourself, what is my life worth? And do not sell your life to someone else who's trying to manipulate you, no matter which side, doesn't matter, okay? So with that being said, I think I'm done here, you guys. I'm going to be back with more, and we're going to talk a lot more about goal achievement and goal setting. But in the meantime, I want you to do life with power because you are built by design to win.